I'm sorry. We have provided lunches, Mr. Bond. They're down there on the floor in the sacks. Okay. You think it's okay to start? Yes. Okay. I'm going to ask all of you if you would give me your attention while they are exiting. You want to give them one final round of applause for a spectacular performance? This is the program that is the annual meeting of the Topeka Rotary Foundation. We've given you a written report so that you'll be able to look at all of the things and that we're talking about and all of the names of people who have done things this past year for the Topeka Rotary Foundation. This is one of my favorite programs because we get to say nice things about a lot of people who have done nice things for others. You are the membership of the Topeka Rotary Foundation. As club members, you are its largest donors, perhaps not individually, but collectively. And the Topeka Rotary Club was fortunate to have fast-thinking, forward-thinking members like Dr. Henry Blake and Hurst Kaufman, who were the impetus behind creating the foundation. And not very many Rotary clubs have a local foundation. So our report today is to basically cover what we've done, honor our donors, and talk about where we're going in the future. I'd like for the current trustees of the foundation, please to stand. You'll find their names listed on the front page of your report. Thank you all very much for your service. I would also like to point out that we have new trustees coming in July, and Scott Teeter in the back is one of those, as well as Angel Zimmerman. This is a reprise for Scott, who's been on the foundation a long time. Three significant things that I want to point out to you. The pandemic has continued through most of 2021. And in fact, we didn't go back to meeting until October. And so our 152 member club looks kind of small when you see us out here, but we used to be much mightier than that. But one thing that happened is that our club has always contributed through the blue cups on your table. You see the blue cups? That cup money used to bring us about $400 a month to distribute to local charities. And right now it's bringing us about $60 a month. So we will start next month, next week actually, displaying the people to whom we have awarded cup money for the next 4 months. But we ask you please stick some extra dollars in that blue cup. The stock market has continued to go up, and we are grateful for that, and we hope it stays there. I'm going to recognize Bob Clausen to come up here next and talk about our finances. And we are in our signature grant for its 3rd year. And in just a few minutes, Betty Morris is going to come up and talk to you about what's going on with that project. But right now, Bob, would you give them a brief report? And it's on the back of your
Thank you, Joan. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon to be with my Rotarian friends. On the report, you'll see underneath it says at the top, Treasurer's Report from Bob Clausen. A couple of things I want to draw to your attention. First of all, it shows on the one box on the left, upper left, the beginning fund balance for the last several years as it has grown, primarily as a result of giving as well as an ongoing booming stock market. On the right-hand side is a number of donations that have been made by the membership over the last several years. And you'll note that we're down a little bit compared to where we've been in the last few years. Under that, there are a couple of charts with some numbers. These are from Central National Bank. Central National Bank is the business that manages our investments for our endowment fund. And they're doing a great job. And the first one shows the allocation of the investments. There's a chart, shows a pie chart plus the numbers compared to a benchmark. Underneath that, there's a fund performance, shows historically how we've done with a red line compared to the blue benchmark line. We're very happy and very pleased with what's been happening the last couple of years since we've been Central National Bank, and that they've been doing a great job in terms of its stock performance. On the bottom, you'll see just a little bit more information graphically that shows the donations for the last several years, what's kind of been happening with that. Lastly, I just want to mention that a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago that we sent out to all the membership to the email from the Rotary website, information that we had recently completed the annual tax return for the foundation. By the raise of hand, who's gone out and looked at that? So a few folks have gone out and looked at that. Well, it's out there. If you go to the website on the Rotary Club, you'll see on the right-hand side where it lists all the documents. You'll see the tax return. You can click on that, it'll pop up. Basically, you do that every year. We're required to do a 1099. And Joan, as a former director of the tax department, we're relying on her a lot. She does a great job, and I assist her that. So we've completed that. It's out there. We do that every year. I'm available for any questions you might have or any concerns you'd like to talk about on finances. Joan?
I hope you like this format. We thought it was easier if we just gave it to you so you could look at it. We do three things on the foundation. We raise money from members and from others. We spend money on charitable contributions, and we manage our investments. And so the point of Bob's talk is to tell you how we're managing those investments. In the spending money category, I'd like for you to hear from Betty Morris, one of our trustees, about our signature grant proposal. Betty, do you want to come on up? Some of you know that it is the safe house for human trafficking.
Okay, when I was considering joining the Rotary, one of the things that interested me was the fact that the Rotary would take on such a gutsy, difficult problem as human sexual trafficking. And that was part of my decision to become a Rotarian, that you were not afraid, although sometimes I am, of stepping forward in such a difficult area. And so when Joan asked me if I would make this report, I felt I had to say yes. Some years ago, the foundation board recognized that the corpus of the foundation was large enough that we could give larger gifts less frequently and make a bigger impact in our community. This grant-making process has worked well thus far. It's happened 2 times. The first grant went to a peace and justice program. The second award was given 3 years ago, so we're just now finishing it. It was designed to be a $20,000 a year, 3-year project. The board began its granting process by calling for proposals, and after a process, accepted a proposal coming from the YWCA to support a day sitter for the purpose of serving victims of human trafficking. At that time, human trafficking, which generally operates in the shadows, was a topic of growing interest and awareness generally, and specifically within the total Rotary world. At that time, the YW in this community, at that time, the YW and the Rescue Mission were both working to develop programming to help women that had been trapped within the industry. The South Rotary Club, with a lot of leadership from Patty Millard, became informed and involved with working with the YW on this issue. It was at one of my first meetings as a new member of Rotary that Patty made a powerful presentation to our club. Our club became a partner with the South Club in working with the YW on this issue. A building in an appropriate location for the center was obtained, and it needed huge amounts of work. So a lot of Rotarians did a lot of the hard, difficult work of remodeling an old building to meet the needs that it needed. And I think all of you are familiar with it and its location. There's a lot of things that could be said about the service hours that members gave in the process of doing that. And it is an important part of our mission. And certainly that kind of a project does give opportunity for that to occur. I think that the emphasis on my report pretty much will be on the funding process that took place, because I think it's particularly impressive the way Rotary can combine resources and make things happen. The local clubs made donations. The South Rotary gave $3,500, and a member of that club gave individually $3,500, so $7,000 came from that club. And then our foundation gave the $20,000 that we gave. Interestingly and unusually, there was a Mumbai, India district that gave us $20,000. And then we received $20,000 from our own district. From Rotary International, we received $53,500. So in total, including non-Rotary gifts, there was $120,500 given, which really allowed that project to get off its feet. Yes, let's do it. At the time that all of it began, there was no idea that a pandemic was coming. And so the center opened, and not long after, we were in the midst of the pandemic. And the Y, with great resourcefulness, managed that and has carried through, and it continued to their operations. I think we need to thank the Y for that. Now, I'm also happy to report that they very resourcefully have received grants that will help them with operating expenses going forward. We gave our third gift, the $20,000. And so we in total have given them 40, is that right? Okay, the next subject for the board will be what the next grant will be. And that could be many different things. And so you will undoubtedly hear a lot from your board about that in the coming year.
Give Betty a big hand, right? We also gave many grants, and I'm going to ask Trey George, who's the Vice President of the Trustees.
Issued an RFP for organizations to submit mini grant ideas for $5,000 and less, and there was a total of $20,000. There were 40 applications that came in totaling $173,000, and so we had the tough job of narrowing those down. We ultimately awarded 5. One organization received $1,000, 3 organizations received $5,000 each, and then the last one received $4,000. So I'll tell you who those organizations are quickly. First off, the RFP had to address a summer learning loss, COVID learning loss, as part of their response. And so Tecumseh North Elementary was received, I believe it was $1,000 for the after-school reading program. YWCA of Northeast Kansas, a COVID learning loss work camp, and that was a $5,000 grant. Rescue Mission Street Team received a $5,000 grant for a trailer for their UTV vehicle for their reach group. And the North Topeka Outreach Operation Backpack received $5,000 for food for the backpack program. And then very graciously, Topeka Housing Authority, in partnership with Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library, for a summer reading book-rich environment initiative. Thank you.
I know that we're getting close on time, but I want you to join me in looking at the back of your report. And all of you who are Henry Blake Fellows, there's a long description in John Knoll's wonderful newsletter, The Road to Topeka, about who Henry Blake was. And there's a list of, for the last 5 years, people who were Henry Blake Fellows. Would you please stand if you're a Henry Blake Fellow? These people have given $500 in 5 years to the foundation. Thank you very much. Good. And there are pins, Henry Blake pins. I had them with me a minute ago. They're, oh, okay. Yeah, good. That's what we're supposed to do. The second thing is that those of you who were 2021 donors are listed in orange on here. And I would like for all of the donors to the foundation in 2021 to please stand and give yourself a round of applause. Good job. And now I want to tell you about some very special and interesting facts. We have this little thing called Little Green Light, which is our donor software. And as we were going through it, Bob likes to make lots of charts. And we discovered that in 2001, which is as far back as he entered information into Little Green Light, every single year from 2001 to 2021, which is a total of 21 years, Dick Knoll, stand up and come forward, Larry Dimmitt, Terry Wages, Kirk Johnson, Scott Teeter, and Carol Wheeler, and her daughter can pick up her gift. They contributed every single year. They didn't miss a year. 21 years. That is amazing. Stay there. David Beck, Sam Karkath, Gordon Lansford, and Bill Neiswanger gave every year from 2002 to 2021, which is a total of 20 years. Bill, I know you're here. Come up and get your candy from Hazel Hills. We used to sing in Sunday school, "The Lord loves a cheerful giver." Do you remember that song? Well, what the Rotary Foundation appreciates and needs are regular givers, whether it's small, a gift you make when you pay your dues and add a little for Rotary International and a little for the Topeka Foundation, or whether it's big. It helps us grow. I am indebted to you. Thank you. Okay, we're just about to wind this up. Please read this handout and look at all the wonderful things that are in there and think about what we do, the work we do in the community, and the work that we do in making Topeka a better place. And most of all, this is what Rotary's in business for. We are here to provide service. And the best way you can do it is with those gifts. Marie, do you have anything else? Okay, it's all yours.
I just have a couple of pricing announcements. The first one I'm gonna let Cody share.
Real quickly, you guys are familiar with our Covered in Coats program. We've been doing a couple hundred coats for the past several years with some creative grant writing, some other things. We've got over 500 coats this year we'll be delivering. The district has asked if we, the 501 district has asked if we can go to distribute some to all 15 schools. Because of COVID restrictions, we can't actually fit the coats on the kids, but I'm going to need about 8 to 10 volunteers that can come by my office down on 10th Avenue, pick up about 75 coats and be delivered to a couple schools. I'll make sure they're close to each other. I'm going to try to put that together next Friday, but it'll probably more likely be the Friday the 16th. So if you guys can start clearing a couple hours on your schedule, probably around lunchtime or early afternoon, I'll need some volunteers. I'll make sure Marie gets you guys more details whenever the time comes. So thank you.
Thank you. And then finally, we have our holiday social. It's on the 16th of December, and Allison and Colleen and I have been working. It's going to be at the Cyrus Hotel from 5:30 to 7:30. Please come. Please bring guests. We are going to have, I know I put in the newsletter, we are going to have an ugly sweater contest. So please bring your sweater. I mean, ideally on you. We are going to also recognize some special Paul Harris Awards that we've been working on, a couple of different people have been working on. And we'd like to have a service project. And the service project is, if you could please bring gift cards that we can then take to the residents of the YWCA Day Center. Again, it all kind of ties together. And so we're looking for gift cards tying to what the YWCA is doing with their Hope for the Holidays. And it's a great way for us to be able to help families have gifts for the holidays. But you also can bring some self-care items, stocking stuffers, holiday decorations, and we'll gather them all together. And you can even start bringing them next week if you'd like. We'll gather them all together and we'll get them out to the day center. So that, again, another way for us to give back, and it fits in so beautifully with what we are doing with as Rotarians. So thank you very much. Thank you for all sticking around. I love your meetings, Joan, because they're always rolling with music, and I do miss that. So thank you. And let's all stand for the four-way test. Of the things we say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Will it be kind and fun? Thank you very much. Thank you for sticking with us.